By now you've probably already heard about 3D printing, that it'll change the world and it's the next industrial revolution, but maybe you haven't exactly been explained what it is. I'm Alec from MatterHackers, and today I'm going to explain what is 3D printing. If you're a part of the hacker community and you like our videos, be sure to click the like button down below. And if you haven't joined up yet, be sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos like how-tos. Now let's get started. For a time, additive manufacturing was only something that could be done by hand, whereas more recently, subtractive manufacturing was something we could leave to computers. Have a large machine cutting away at metal or wood or whatever material they could get their hands on to actually make something. And then additive was really just having a sculptor in an office modeling what is the shape of this car going to be. But now we have 3D printers where it incorporates the machinery to actually do something automatically without having to have somebody there sculpting the part. The most common form of 3D printing you're going to see is the type where it takes a material, melts it down onto a bed, and then does that repeatedly to actually make the 3D object. So in this case, you have this machine here where it has the skateboard truck here that is made of plastic. So what it did is, this originally was like this wire on a spool, but it's all plastic. So this goes through, is heated up, melted down, and laid down in a very specific pattern on the bed. And you can think of this type of 3D printer essentially as a hot glue gun with some very precise motors on it. But then how exactly does that material go from just a wire on a spool into the 3D object? Well, you need a computer. Just like any other sort of computerized manufacturing, you need to do some design work, whether that's something very basic like using Mattercontrol or Tinkercad just to combine a couple shapes, or something a lot more advanced than using an industrial level 3D modeling software to actually create your parts. It doesn't really matter because they can create a file of the same format. Think about them all being able to make a Word document that these machines can read. Once you have the design, this is imported into a separate program that does all the actual thinking for the machine and interprets it into a language that the printer can understand. So it will take an object, cut it down into a bunch of fine layers, like a CAT scan, and then take that CAT scan and turn it into a bunch of movements. So if you're trying to print a cube, it's going to start in the back, move forward, right, back, and left, and it's going to do that repeatedly and just build up the layers, stacking it on top. Like how you might sculpt a vase in a pottery class where you lay down strands of clay, build it up, and then smooth it out. The smoothing out is something that can be done after printing and not during, but it takes the same general principle. But if you don't know how to 3D model or design, there's still a plethora of different websites that host a bunch of 3D models, like phone cases or animals, and you can search these up and find a whole variety of different ones to fit different phones or just different animals, or even some very complex things like your favorite blaster from a sci-fi series. These are all hosted online, and you don't have to do any modeling, just download them, send it to that program that does the translating, and put it on your printer. Now, the printers you're going to find on a consumer level are generally going to be this melted plastic sort of 3D printer. There does exist about a dozen other different forms of 3D printing, and a lot of these are more specific for different industries. There's some 3D printers that are designed for jewelry, so they can print out intricate details and the prongs that are supposed to hold a gemstone in. There's some that are designed to be printing in metal, where it's basically a welder in 3 dimensions, and it's hardening metal in the shape that you need in a way that really wouldn't be achievable without 3D printing. They're even working on making 3D printers that can print out medical devices, and not just a device that goes in somebody, but something like a prosthetic ear, or even printing things using a person's own cells so it's never rejected. A lot of 3D printer companies got their start by printing the parts that hold their printer together, and have found that that's actually a really good way to continue making their printers. Something like this printer here has a lot of 3D printed parts on it because it works, and it's really easy to change it and make it more efficient, make it work a little better without having to go through the entire manufacturing process again to be able to make this printer have some changes to it. Since I first learned about 3D printing, it's gotten both a lot less expensive and the quality of the parts have gotten a lot better on those machines. So no longer do you spend $2,000 for a part that's really not that great. There are some printers out there that are very low cost budget ones that can achieve the same quality as those $2,000 ones used to. And now a $2,000 machine has incredible detail. So a quick overview of what is 3D printing. 3D printing is an additive manufacturing process where you're taking material, laying it down, and building up layers until you have your 3D object. This is done by taking a 3D model either you have designed or found online, putting it into a program to turn that into a format that the printers can understand, taking material and either melting it down, laser sintering it, using a laser to cure things, or a whole variety of different processes to actually harden the material in place, creating your object. There's a variety of things that can actually use 3D printing, like medical devices, medical body parts, more 3D printers, or even automotive manufacturing plants. So I hope this video has helped you learn what is 3D printing, how it works on a basic level, and how this information can be applied to a greater scale. But I'm sure, give it a couple years, everything I've said here will already be outdated and there will be some new way that 3D printing is changing the world. Now here at MatterHackers, we pride ourselves on supporting the community and supporting customers with the best tech support that we can on all the different intricacies of a 3D printer, the little accessories and upgrades and different products that you have, because 3D printing is new and it does have some troubleshooting to it, and we want to make sure that everybody has their best chance at success. I'm Alec from MatterHackers. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. If you like that, give us a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all the big builds, how-tos, and troubleshooting guides I'll be working on. And don't forget, check out MatterHackers.com to explore everything 3D printing and to join the community.